Hi there. This is a color. More specifically, it's the color gray. When people think of colors, they don't immediately think of gray. Instead, they gravitate to colors like red, green, blue, yellow, cyan, and magenta. And that's completely normal. However, when you're developing a game, the color gray becomes very important. There's countless terms and facts that can support this claim, but the leading reason for me is gray boxing, since there's truly nothing else that can turn something like this into something like this. Let's talk about how we got here. In my last video, I documented the timeline from February 8th, 2026 to March 5th, 2026. To recap, we created a gray box for our test map, messed around with camera and player movement, created a rough foundation of our test lobby, began system building and general programming, touched up the game design, created modular build pieces, expanded and enhanced the look of the lobby, built an initial prototype of our sky map, worked on general lighting in the lobby, added double jumping, built out some general UI elements, made an in-match and post-match leaderboard, added a sliding mechanic, a functioning health bar, showcased how we implement placeholders, added an AFK feature for players, increased the speed of movement, added a dash movement mechanic, although we shelved it, created a threat and player indicator, and even created our first gray box level for our canyon map. That's everything the previous video covered. Let's now continue. It's now March 9th, 2026, and we've changed up a few things. The lighting in the lobby is a little bit more tropical and vibrant to fit the style. The player camera can now be shift locked, making movement feel a little bit more responsive. Players can now complete matches if they reach the end of the map. And to close it out, we made players into rocket ships rather than ragdolls, because that makes sense. A new day starts and it's March 10th. We decide to make this day all about the canyon map. We work on some assets, and shortly thereafter, we create what's called a beautiful corner, which in game development is used to showcase the final artistic vision of what you'd like your game to look like. It essentially demonstrates an art style. I think we did a good job. We added some light foliage, some variation in terms of height, made the lighting feel a little bit dry, and ensured the coloration of the build pieces matched the lighting, which in turn brings it all together. But it doesn't make the map. So that's what we did next. By March 13th, 2026, the canyon map was basically done. The last section of the map has now been completed, where players will now run through a tunnel and then make their way over a river crossing before ending the match. There was definitely a few things that need to be worked on for this map, but for now it works. It's now March 14th, 2026, and even more has happened. We've created 2 additional gray boxes for 2 upcoming maps. The first gray box is themed around the sky, with the entire idea based on the concept of jumping from one land to another, which is definitely not why this is eventually called Skylands. In this map, we had a variety of things. We had spikes, balancing on a log, a swinging platform, and just a variety of other things. For the second map gray box, it was themed around the forest, which is why you can see these very tall trees in the initial gray box. In the opening area, we thought it would be really cool to have players run across bridges, which would then be followed by more rock jumps, that's literally what we called it, jumping down into the rapids, navigating through a minefield of spikes, journeying through a river of rolling logs and platforms, and to close it out, there was rock jumps and I don't know what we called this. That was the initial gray box for Sky and Forest. Plus, it seems like we made some progress to the forest map as well. We created a few modular build pieces for forest to act as the border of the map, and we even began to colorize the trees. Following this, we began to replace a lot of the placeholders in the gray box, so now you should be able to see the vision for the forest map. That is, of course, until later that same night, only a few hours later, that the vision expanded. The opening section of Forest now has a variety of things. There's now 3 platforms around 3 trees that all have foliage. This, of course, required us to make even more build pieces. Bridges have been created to connect each platform, and even added small trees and fog below. It's safe to say March 14th was insane. It's now March 16th, 2026, and something big has arrived. Animations. There's a standard walking animation, a starting pose, jumping, double jumping, sliding, and landing. The new movement definitely worked. The movement system was programmed in such a way that the animations would blend beautifully between one another. The only issue was that it was a little slow, but that's okay. To close out this version, there was even more progress made to the forest map. The section that literally said more rock jumps now has more rock jumps, as well as a lot of other things. It was truly surreal to be able to walk around the forest map with their animations in, lighting, and the environment generally built built out. It's safe to say we're making some tremendous progress. But that doesn't mean it's done, which is why the following day, March 17th, 2026, we got back to work. We finished the jump area, created a mountainous ravine, which till this day is still one of our favorite additions, and even got around to the second portion of the forest map. The only big difference in the second portion is that we removed spikes from the initial gray box and just replaced it with rock formations that players navigate around. At the end of this day, the last two parts of the forest map still remained unfinished, as well as the entirety of the sky gray box. Luckily, however, March 19th, 2026 was right around the corner, and let's just say we got to work.